Nelson Lyles.
Nelson in the building. Okay. So Nelson, tell us a little bit about your background and the organization that you represent now.
Like I said, my name is Nelson Lyles. I represent a dealership that sits in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, which is right outside of Frankfort and right outside of Lexington. Approximately, years going back, I started out as a naval officer, retired from the Navy.
Respect.
Thank you. My mother, upon my retirement, was diagnosed with multiple myeloma cancer, terminally ill. I turned around, stopped everything to take care of her, and then one of my very good friends said, man, what are you going to do? This is going to take its course. You've been doing this battle for 2 years. What are you going to do? I said, I have no idea. The only thing I knew was the Navy. The only other thing I knew after that was taking care of her. He turned around, sat back, now I'm going to date myself, turned around on my back porch and opened up a Sunday newspaper and said, and circled car dealership. I said, man, I've never sold Boy Scout cookies, never mind. Turned around and sold a car, right? So, make a long story short, fast forward, I go to the dealership, they work with my schedule so I can take care of my mom, that course passes on, and the rest is I got around some really, really good people. They turned around and believed in training, and I'm gonna date myself again. I mean, I remember walking into the store and there was a Stuker box on the table with a tickler file, right? And that was called follow-up.
I did them too.
You spent all day long filling out this card to stick it in a box and then flip through it. From there, naturally, the natural course, salesperson to finance manager to sales manager, and on goes the course. I had a very, very unique opportunity approximately a little over 2 years ago. There's a gentleman who's my business partner and our dealer principal. His name is Marcus Withers of Withers Automotive. He was getting his first store. Matter of fact, I was sitting at NAMAD with you when a gentleman by the name of Winston Pittman Sr., some of you may know him from Pittman Enterprises, okay? And what happened was he walked up to me and said, hey, Nelson, I want you to talk to you and meet my son-in-law, which I did. Fast forward that, probably about 6 months to 8 months later, I got an opportunity to buy into a small minority stake of my first store, which was a CDGR store. Going from that point, the last 2 years have been dedicated to building that store. And now within the next 30 days, we're closing on 3 other rooftops, and it's growth. I do want to say one thing, though. I've listened to everybody over the last few days, and Mr. Ruth brought up a very, very good point. You don't get anywhere in this industry being an island and being by yourself. Marcus Withers gave me an opportunity. We flipped everybody in our system. And I tell people all the time, especially now that we're growing and we get all these applications and resumes of people that want to come aboard, want either an opportunity for ownership, want an opportunity for success, want an opportunity to grow. Somebody asked me the other day, man, that must be great to own a store. I said, I will tell you this, it's the hardest I ever worked for the least amount of money. It is the hardest I ever worked for the least amount of money. The beauty of it is I get the opportunity now to bring somebody like Samantha, who started off as a daycare worker about 2 years ago and is now our director of our BDC program, to our first conference ever. So those journeys make it nice. The journeys of being able to sit on this stage, this is crazy. I'm not a public speaker, right? I'm not a presenter. I never knew that people actually got paid to do this. I was talking to some of the presenters that did this, and they're like, yeah, I've got to go because I'm flying over here to do this. I got to speak again. I'm like, wow, this is really a thing. Like, people actually get paid to get up on the stage and present. I'm not that guy. I'm a grinder. If you ever come in my office, I got a sign behind my desk that says grinder. I get to the store at 6 o'clock in the morning. I leave 9 o'clock at night. I'm in there 5 hours on Sunday, and my whole goal is to make life better for the people that work for us and uplift them. So I'm humbled to be on this stage. I'm humbled to be around folks that, when I started, they didn't have this. Like, if you were a salesperson, you didn't have the opportunity to sit back and come to a conference or a 20 group for salespeople. It was unheard of. My 20 group was, you work 20 hours in a day. You work 6 days a week, 7 days a week. You flip through your tickler file, This is all dealers in here, right? Excuse me, like I told you, I was a sailor. And you got MF'd as motivation, you know? So because all the managers then believed that what you did was you turned around, the compensation exceeded the aggravation, so therefore people stayed. And we interpreted that as loyalty. All right? We paid people a lot of money. We basically shit on them the whole time. We didn't motivate them. We didn't acknowledge them. We didn't recognize them. And then we wondered why they didn't do a good job. Managers, directors were fearful, insecure of their own position. In our store, we have meetings. In the meeting, when we have new hires, I ask them, I need you to tell me what your next job is here. And when they first get there, they look around like they're scared to give you what that next job is. But I turn around and invite everybody to have mine. And I tell them I'm going to give them everything that they need to get this job. Because you can't lead anybody. And I know this isn't leadership, and I'm sorry about this, but
Don't apologize. You like this? Yeah, keep going.
You can't lead if, in fact, you're fearful of your own position.
Whew.
Because when you do that, you're not leading anybody because nobody's following you. And if nobody's following you, you're just out for a walk. So be guarded when you have people come in. Don't be fearful of teaching them to be better than you. Because until you teach people to be better than you, your organization, you can't grow as an individual, they won't grow, and your organization won't grow.
Yeah. So I gotta say that I was surprised at the level that you guys were doing it in Kentucky. I mean that with respect. I'm from New York, and we have this thing in the Northeast or what have you, or in California, that we're a little bit ahead of stuff. But Nelson, like, I was really surprised how you embraced the subject for today, which is video. So before we show a couple of the things that we created together, talk to us about how important video is to you and to your organization and why.
Real simple. Video's important to us for just really a couple basic reasons. Has anybody here ever heard of the term societal cues? Basically, there's things in society that cue you to what the direction of things that are going on. Well, we're in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. We got a population of 10,000 people. All right, we're the only OEM store. The entire county only has 26,000. All right, and I will tell you this because I'm a realist. Some of you know me, I keep it real. We raised the minority population of Anderson County by 1,000% between the hours of 8 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock at night. It's a true fact. But the community's embraced us. When we first got that store, it had a horrible reputation. We had only one employee that was from the county, and now over 70% of our employees are from the county. So, I mean, we're making headway in that direction. The reason why videos is very important to us, and I got to thank Dealer Synergy for a lot of this eye-opening things with it, and the reason why we embraced it, was our next door neighbor. Our next door neighbor is Dan Cummings, the very same store that he stood on this very stage and told you he took from 120 cars to 850 cars. They're literally a stone's throw away from us. So we are not in a position at this point in 2 years to be competitive volume-wise with them. We're still on that growth process. So when you have somebody that's that large in your market, maybe some of you guys in this room go up against this, you have to discover what your point of difference is going to be. Because you're not going to be able to always go and compete against them from a price point perspective. Let's face it, they're going to be able to sell more cars for less margin because they're going to make it up on the other end. So if you're selling less cars, there's no way you can sell it for a greater margin when a consumer can turn around and find that very same vehicle 30 miles away. So when we got with Dealer Synergy, and this isn't like a plug because he doesn't need one, what we did was we utilized the video concept to make our point of differences. So for us, it builds our value. It gives us a standalone difference. It's the things that the big volume stores aren't going to do on a day-to-day basis because it takes resources and it takes time. So if that's our advantage point, that's what we use 100%. The other side to it is we use it from the perspective of, once again, the societal cues, right? Advertising and media spend in 2023 was $515 billion. Yesterday, I sat up there because I had to do some work, but I didn't want to miss some of the content that was going on in the room up in the balcony. But you got these screens, right? So you got all this video content that's up here. The thing that I noticed when I was sitting up there as I was paying attention and doing some work is, and I was sharing this with somebody last night at the reception, even with all this screens and all this professional production, a third of the room was still on their cell phones. A third of the room was still swiping. Not saying that they weren't paying attention, but here goes those societal clues again, right? I'm looking at everybody sitting here on their phone, and I've done it while I've been in the room as well. We're all guilty of it, but even though we had all this video stimulation, all this professional production, we're still going through our phones. So why wouldn't we turn around and use our video streaming and everything that we use on our phone from a video standpoint to advertise our business and build our brand? Last night I had an opportunity to talk with a bunch of folks, and we were sitting there talking. I told them, I really got hooked on, here we go, societal clue again. How many people here go to restaurants? Everybody, right? How many people go to the restaurants with their spouse, their friend, their mate, whoever it might be? How many of you turn around and take your phone, shut it off, stick it in your bag, stick it in your pocket while you're sitting there? Or how many of us take our phone and put it on the table? Show of hands, how many people put the phone on the table? How many people shut the phone off? Here's my last question. Show of hands. How many people at night when they go home have a designated time that they shut their cell phone off? That's good. I'm in that program. My whole point is that we just went around the room and we found out that people will go to a restaurant, sit there with whoever they went to the restaurant with, and swipe on their phone. So if all of us are spending that much time on these devices, why would we ever worry about turning around and advertising on a television station? Yes, television media is 47% of the ad spend nationally, based upon whichever statistics you want to look at. But here's the funny part about that. Social media, internet, and streaming are the next three categories with the highest percentage. Radio's been a consistent 20 to 28% since 2011. Where do you want to spend your time and spend your money?
Yeah, I'm gonna say two things. One is, I don't believe you are not a professional speaker. You could tell a subject matter expert because he didn't look at his notes, he didn't look at a PowerPoint, he breathes this information. How many managers or owners have subject matter supremacy? You know what I mean? That's what you need to be able to do. So spot on, spot on, spot on. One of the companies that we own is Dealer Video Production. We've been doing video for like 12, 13 years for large dealer groups all over the country. So we actually flew to Kentucky with my team, and we had a ball, and we shot a bunch of videos, and let's see what some of them look like. Okay, so this is the value package video.
My name is Nelson Lyles. I'm the general manager here at Chrysler of Lawrenceburg. As the general manager, I understand that you want to strive to get the very best price and structure that you possibly can on your very next vehicle purchase. The factory, the manufacturer, has incentives and discounts that they do not readily make available to the public. If you currently have a non-Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram product, you have up to an additional $750 that can be used toward your next purchase. If you are a first responder or someone that is in our active military or reserves, a teacher, a medical professional, up to $500 toward the purchase of your next vehicle. We have lease pull-ahead money that's available. If you're currently in a Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram lease and you're within 6 months of maturation, you have the ability to come in, release, or go into a retail purchase on a vehicle of your choice and receive compensation for those existing 6 months. If you are a recent college grad from a 2-year or greater program, you have an additional incentive up to $1,000. In addition to that, we will make your first car payment up to $750. Our most valuable people in our community are our senior citizens. And with that being known, we provide them with their first car payment up to $750.
Hi, my name is Kristen Perry. I'm the Finance Director here at Chrysler of Lawrenceburg. I will be the one to go over all of your interest rates, your financing amounts, what bank that you're going to be going through, trying to get the best deal for you when it comes to all of those specific matters. What I would talk to you about is service contracts, being able to get your vehicle fully protected. If something were to go wrong, you can take it to not only our dealership here in our service bays, but any dealership that's close to you. These service contracts will make sure that you are completely covered with whatever service department you take it to. They are able to get that fixed for you.
Hello, I'm Jim Huey, Parts and Service Director of the all-new Withers Automotive Chrysler of Lawrenceburg in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Come see us for all your parts and service needs. My job basically is to make sure you, the customer, is taken care of on a timely and accurate basis. Make sure your car is fixed correctly, the right parts, the right service, and at a fair price.
Hello, my name is Kaleem Shabazz, and I'm the detail manager at the Lawrenceburg Chrysler dealership in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. This is basically where the magic happens, where we detail cars on a daily basis, detailing, washing, waxing, all of the above. We just take pride in our cars. We try to offer the best service. There's no job too big for us.
One of the things that I want to speak to you about is the current environment in the automobile industry that we find ourselves in today. During COVID, we discovered that we had a shortage of inventory. That shortage of inventory drove up pricing in the car market. We have turned around and addressed this value proposition plan by making sure that there are no hidden fees, that we have complete transparency in our pricing. We want to make sure that you have no more surprises because we firmly believe that everybody has had enough surprises over the last 2 years. We have made sure that any vehicle that you are interested in has a very detailed pricing structure. You will understand exactly what the value of that vehicle is. You will understand exactly what you're paying for that vehicle. We value you here at Chrysler of Lawrenceburg, and we look forward to seeing you.
But I want to say this. Can you write something down for me? Serious. Price is only relevant with the absence of value. At the end of the day, that's why we have the road to the sale. We do product presentations, demonstration drives, service walks, is to build value. If you want more appointments and more appointments to show, I evangelize this concept, you need to articulate what is different and better about your organization. The rules of engagement haven't changed in 25 years I've been doing this. Sell yourself, sell the dealership, sell the product. I'm proud of Nelson and his team because they challenged themselves to build their value package proposition. This is their automated first response. So in their CRM, when somebody submits an internet purchase request, they get a video email or a video text message, and besides the text, this is the video that they're gonna get that's they're using through a video player like a Co-Video or a BombBomb platform. Now, why buy for me? I think is one of the most important things that you need to articulate to somebody. Because we said this yesterday, J.D. Power says the average prospect is searching 9+ different dealerships and websites. So what is different and better? You gotta be able to articulate that. Okay, instead of having static, are you still looking for a vehicle? This is a video email and or video text message that could be deployed automated through the CRM.
There's a huge end-of-month sale happening at Chrysler of Lawrenceburg.
My name is Tony Jimenez with Chrysler of Lawrenceburg here in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Not only are you going to receive additional support from our manufacturer, but we're going to support you here at the store as well. So for the next few days, we're going to give you $1,000 extra when you trade in a vehicle, and we're also going to give you an additional $1,000 worth of discount on your purchase. You have a lot of time to come back into our store and save a lot of money in the next couple of days with the end-of-month clearance.
Guess what, people? This is the gift that keeps on giving. You could produce something once and use this month after month after month after month after month. Again, there's always a sale. So you have multimedia that you could use, either automated, it could be video template, it could be text template, but it is content that is sight, sound, motion, and emotion. Based on the science of communication, it is way better than a text or a static email. Pull up your chairs. Glenn, this is the most gangster-ish I've ever seen. This is hilarious. I get so many compliments on your people for doing this. It's all about referrals.
Hello guys, my name is Jay Parks. I'm with Chrysler of Lawrenceburg. We are here today to show a little bit of customer appreciation, as well as for anyone out there who has friends, family, neighbors, co-workers, anybody who is in the market for a vehicle. If you would like to come on down to 1181 Bypass South, Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, to Chrysler of Lawrenceburg. Once again, my name is Jay Parks. You can ask for me. First time you come in or you send in a referral, just make sure they let us know that you sent them. They ask for me. Then what we do is we walk them through the process. We take care of them the same way that we took care of you and your family. First check, we'll cut back a check for $300. The second time you send a customer the deal funds, your check will be for $700. And on the third time, which is always the lucky number here, is 3. You come in, we get the customer handled. We'll take care of you with a check for $1,000, $1,000 a band, a rack, a stack, however you'll look at it. You'll ride home happy with your check.
On their credit app, they make $500 a month. I look like a moron telling them if they bring me a customer, I'm going to give them $50 or $100. But if I turn around and tell that person that they can get $300 to $500, and I can show them a way to make more money than they make on a weekly basis at their job, I just expanded my employment of salespeople exponentially without having to pay benefits, without having to turn around and worry about staffing them. They work on their time from their home out of their own owner base. I don't want to hear the fact I can't afford to pay $500 or $1,000. I pay more for that, the employee that only sells 4 cars a month costs me more than what I just paid Crystal Sherrard that brought me 7 customers. So rather than chasing salespeople that don't want to work, rather than having people that are going to erode your staff, they're going to break down your culture, use your customers that obviously came to you because they care about you, they like you, they appreciate the service that you provide, and give them an opportunity to earn, and let them spread your goodwill and bring your customers without you having to take on the additional expense.
What I keep telling you people, Shakespeare said, show me your friends and I'll tell who you are. This is why we do this, so we can share information. Is anybody in the audience have a referral program even close to what they're doing at Chrysler of Lawrenceburg? Can you share what kind of referral bird dog are you paying out?
My store only does $100, but I tell everybody that I meet, because I have a plastic business card, that's credit card thickness, that I have like a referral program set up so like I can get proof and get information sent to me in CRM format straight so I could work it into the deal before they visit. My store does 100, I always throw 150 on top of that. If they bring me 2 people in a month, I throw an extra 250 on top of the 100 that my store does. And if they bring me a 5th person, I do 500. So 400 for me, 100 for my store, because I want them to keep on be obsessed with sending me people. But I do that as a salesperson, not the whole store doesn't do that.
No, and I actually trained both my daughters, Tiana when she worked at Patriot, and then Kalina when she worked at RK. And thank God, John is the GSM and GM at the organization. He stepped up because before we got there, the bird dogs were a little bit light. And this is a conversation I have with all my dealers. I respectfully don't think it should be the majority of the salespeople. I'm okay with the salespeople putting in their own, but I just don't understand why dealers are only doing $50 or $100 when we're okay pissing money out the door on marketing shit that doesn't work. I think putting the money in the community, putting the money to frontline agents like what you're doing here, what you're doing there is so fiscally responsible. So a round of applause to you as a salesperson for you being proactive and doing that. All right, here's what we're gonna do. I wanna give you guys the opportunity to ask, Nelson, a couple questions. So if anybody's got any questions for Nelson, just please raise your hand and microphone Perry will be running around for you.
How did you get your store to buy in to this mentality of sending videos? Because I think everybody has heard this, everybody's heard us talk about it, we've talked about best practices, but it's the implementation and the buy-in at the store level. How did you get your store to get that to become part of your culture?
This is going to be a response that may seem contradictory to that culture of embracing and allow people to choose, but everybody in this room in some state or fashion is a manager, director, or aspiring to be one, GM or GSM or a dealer principal, there's just certain things that at times you just have to mandate. I know we live in a society where mandate has all of a sudden become a bad word. Everything has to be something that's a buy-in or something that people have to hug and hold, but at times you have to just turn around and establish the fact that this is what's necessary, this is what's required in order for you to function in the position that you want to have. Okay, that's not a bad thing. Okay, I'm not telling you to demand it. I'm not telling you to turn around and drive it down somebody's throat. But let's face it, if you're a firefighter and the alarm goes off, you're mandated to go down that pole, put that suit on, and run in that burning building. If you're a police officer and you get a call and they say that there's a shooter or whatever it might be, you're mandated to respond to that call. If you're a doctor and somebody walks into that emergency room or rolls in there, you're mandated to turn around and use that hypocritical oath and help that person. I don't understand where the car business has gotten to a point where we cannot mandate what's required for the best of our stores. The trainer that's also out of West Virginia, he said, you know, extraordinary, you do extraordinary things. I've learned to do a lot of things by being a parent, not because I was a smart parent, but because my kids were smart kids and taught me how to be a better parent. But the thing that my son asked me one time, he said, Dad, I want to be an extraordinary swimmer. How do I be an extraordinary swimmer? I'm sitting himself saying, son, there's not a whole lot of black Olympic swimmers, but we're going to work at it, right? I'm just being real with you. I can help you with basketball, I can help you with football, but you're going to dive in this pool, you're going to be on your own when you hit that water, right? You know, somebody will sit back and say, well, you were a naval officer. How do you not know how to swim? I'm going to let you in on a secret in the Navy. You do not have to know how to swim to be in the Navy, because I got news for you. If that ship goes down, you're not close enough to swim to shore. So you better know how to float. The reality is, what I turned around and told him was, I said, well, where do you think you're at now, son? He said, well, Dad, I can swim with all the rest of the kids. He goes, you know, I'm ordinary. I said, well, hell, we got this beat. He said, well, what do you mean? I said, I just need you to do some extra, and then tomorrow you'll be extraordinary. So the fact of the matter is, when you say what's the buy-in, you make it a mandate. But in addition to mandates, the only way those really work successfully is if you give people the why. All right, so yes, is it mandated? Absolutely. But why is it mandated? Well, it's mandated because, number one, you're going to establish yourself in this community because this video's going to get shared, okay? And you're in the position as a sales professional for people to remember your face, to remember your voice, to remember what you stand for, to remember what you represent. And the way that we remember that is real simple. Once again, societal clues. If I turn around and give you a show, okay, you're going to be able to turn around and everybody in this room is going to be able to say something. It doesn't even have to be a show. If I say Ricky Martin, what's the first thing you think of? All right, I sit back and say McDonald's, what's the first thing you think of? You know, you think of some golden arches. I say Burger King, what's the first thing you think of? Okay, I say Dealer Synergy, what's the first thing you think of? Okay, I sit back and say Glenn Lundy, what's the first thing you think of? Societal clues, baby. That's all it is, societal clues. So the question is that you ask me, how do you get buy-in? Ask yourself, what's going to be your societal clue? What's going to make you different? What's your point of difference from the salesman at the next store? Because you're not in competition with the other store. You're in competition as a sales professional with the other salesperson. So if you don't have a point of difference, why should they come to you?
Yo, please give a round of applause for Mr. Nelson Lyles, man. Thank you so much.
Man, absolutely phenomenal.
I'll have the biggest, baddest crew. How to make plenty money too.
Listen, if you don't have access to Bradley On Demand, you're missing out on crucial information. The top automotive groups like Coons, Lithia, and Norm Reeves have all used Bradley On Demand to train their teams. And guess what? The world's #1 car salesman, Cody Carter, shares his exclusive strategies right here. You want his secrets? You gotta have Bradley On Demand. Stop waiting and start winning. Dominate your market. Click the link and get access now.